Initiating startup sequence.
This is the mighty blue denim jean Amir-Ppc G57. A detachable display smartphone does not happen every day, but now here is one that is most capable and is wrapped in a handsome blue denim jean garment. The well-equipped, hefty unit not only is to function as a smartphone, but also one that can mimic a pocket PC, capable of both entertaining the users by its arcade and allowing them to surf the web too. The detachable display can facilitate to switch from one task to another. To do so, the display unit is fitted with a custom-designed dovetail joints made out of aluminum alloy and the adjacent female A-kit that would fit firmly in 3 different positions to fulfill the varieties of functions as it was mentioned earlier. The combination of a dovetail joint and an A-kit forming a harness to provide the connectivity, holding the display against the main body of the smartphone. The 2 receiving ends have the same exact dovetail joints, but have allocated the same male end of the A-kit at all 3 different places. Here is a design that consists of the main, the display, and the keys module that are assembled in a harmonious way. Although the steps in transforming an idea to real life require certain meticulous modular designs, but to conduct a video presentation and for the way the smartphone is, a more subtle approach is employed here. To describe the functions and features, the smartphone is fixed with the display as seen on primary position for the unit's basic and everyday operations. On the upper part of the smartphone, other than the harness mentioned earlier, there is a 4-segment linear LED array for visual alerts on the left, earset assembly recessed in its box in the middle, and the secondary camera mounted on a frame that sits on the right-hand side. Besides numerous implementations of the primary position, it is most suitable for video calls. On the lowest section and at the edge is the microphone set. The lower part of the unit, as seen here, includes the accessed easily buttons sitting near the edge. The first red is on the upper left corner, second green on the lower left curved corner, first green is on the upper right corner, and second red is on the lower right curved corner. The same surface is also populated with the rest of the button field. There are 2 circular orange buttons on the near left side. The left one is the back button and the right one is the C. On the near right side of the surface, the blue rectangular button is EXO. In the center is FPS assembly, and to its both lower sides are the first and the second sets of red rectangular QSQC buttons. On the upper left, the side view of the dovetail joint is visible, which is unconnected, sitting idle in its housing. Right beside it is the hard-to-see female half of the A kit. Most of the smartphone's face is occupied by an excellent-size multi-touch display worthy of movies and games. Around the walls where the connectors and switches are, here on the lower wall is ST switch. On the lowest left corner of the unit, as seen, is the holding band and the first band slot, which is cleared through to the back side. On the left wall is HDMI port sitting on the lower part, and screen off-on is on the upper. On the very top left corner is the same holding band and the second band slot, which is cleared through to the back side. The components sitting on the top wall mainly is in two groups, the ones mounted on the slope and the others which are placed on the vertical wall below. Of the ones sitting on the vertical wall and past the second band slot is the free button in black, which is designed in to release the display or the keys module when pressed. Right beside it is the headphone plug, and in the center is Charger-PC connector. Before the end corner is standalone power on-off button. There are two parts to the one sitting on the sloped wall, the dovetail joint and the male half of the A kit, forming the second option in connectivity. Over on the upper right corner are L1, L2 of arcade group. Onto the right wall and looking at the vertical part are volume adjusters and lock-unlock switch. On the sloped part up above is another harness, including the dovetail joint and the male half of the A kit. Looking at the following corner are R1, R2 of arcade group. It is worth mentioning that the display in primary position is secured in place by a system other than the dovetail joint. There are two separate miniature half pellets worked into the inner walls of the body, one to the left and the other on the right. There are also two cups carved out of the section beneath the display, compatible with positioning of the pellets. The two fit tightly one against another by the cup and ball principle, keeping the display locked in place. When the free button is pressed, the two half pellets at each side is recessed back, releasing the display. As it is demonstrated, in order to switch the display from the primary to the secondary position, at first, the user must have the free button pressed to have the display released. As soon as it is released, the only female end of the A kit comes to view, as it was mentioned earlier about the primary position. In the following, the display is moved out manually, placed into its secondary position. Then the keys module is elevated by the press hold of the free button and locked to its secondary position by press and release the board manually as seen here. In addition to standard keys of QWERTY, the keyboard includes the SB button beside carriage return, the third set of QSQC in orange rectangle near the left, and a mouse ball about the center. Most of the arcade buttons are on this board. The quad-directional arrows in black are on the lower left corner, the reset and start buttons on the lower center, and the numerical 1, 2, 3, and 4 buttons are on the lower right. Also, the same number 1 is given the second task as back button, and number 3 is assigned as C. All the keys are laid out on a bed of lighter color blue denim jean. The secondary position is recommended most for surfing the web and for various keyboard applications. There are two large loudspeakers to the smartphone, one on the right and vertical, flush with the smartphone's face, and the other on the left and at an angle. They are each positioned in a way that are most suitable and in accordance to their applications. As it is shown in the presentation, in order to switch the display from the secondary to the third position, it is instructed to first press the free button, Then perform a quick press and release of the keys module to elevate it to its highest level so it can rotate by 90 degrees clockwise. Then it is pressed down and locked to have it flushed with the surface of the unit. Ultimately, the display is removed manually and conveniently from where it was and is placed to its third position as seen here. The third position is recommended for games because of its availability of arcade group controls. The loudspeakers are designed intentionally, suited best not only for the arcade use, but also for other applications such as movies and musical videos. In order to examine the backside, here the unit is retrieved back into its original primary position now. When looking at the backside of the smartphone, a better view of the blue denim jean garment comes to sight beneath, which is the enclosure of the unit made out of aluminum alloy and PVC. Over it is the standard main camera assembly. It includes the lens shutter, the lids, 2 LED flashes, and a Amir design logo that sits below.
Initiating shutdown sequence.